the notification that recording has started. I believe recording has started, and I will put this on projection mode. I would be asking if you can hear me, if my screen is visible, in order to ensure that everyone is fine. Once again, you're welcome. Thank you for being on the call today. I believe strongly that it will worth your time. Okay, once again, let's confirm that my voice is audible enough and that my screen is also visible and that you can hear me. Please, I need that response so that I can move to the next slide.
Yes,
Yes,
I can
sir.
hear you.
Thank you. The reason why I'm asking is I'm sharing my entire screen so that I wouldn't see if people can raising their hands or something. So once again, you're welcome, everyone. What we want to look at today has to do with business intelligence using Microsoft Excel, but it's actually broad. So I would narrow it down today to pivot table. Sorry, Power Pivot. People are used to pivot table in Excel, but what we are looking at today is what we call Power Pivot. So, reason why I put the subtitle, Mastering Power Pivot for Advanced Data Analytics. Many people are used to Microsoft Excel, but they do not know that there are powerful tools that are embedded within Excel. Before Power BI became a standalone application, Power BI was introduced, or business intelligence was introduced within Excel. Of course, it's still there. So, reason why we're going to just focus on Power Pivot. I'll move to the next slide. Okay, this is just to introduce me. So I will move away from this and for people that are just joining for the first time. So the focus again is on Power Pivots. I will show how to enable it for people that do not know how to enable Power Pivots. But this screen is just to show you some things about Power Pivots. The purpose is, data modeling. In Excel, there is not how you want to be able to create an interactive report with many tables, right? With many tables. It's not possible to do in Excel. You have to leverage on Power Pivot. If you want to create reports in Microsoft Excel, of course, you will use pivot table. So pivot table will not be able to, ordinary reports in Excel that has to do with multiple table will not be possible. You can only use a single table to do that. But in order to be able to connect many tables to create reports, you will need to leverage this guy called Power Pivot. Reason why you are seeing it is for data modeling and creating relationship between different tables. Without this guy, that wouldn't be really possible in Excel. People did not know that you can write DAX within Excel. Of course, you can't write it within ordinary Microsoft Excel. Reason why you need Power Pivot to do that. So all of these stories to tell you that before Microsoft put together what we call Power BI as a standalone application, it started within Microsoft Excel. In Excel, we have Power Query Editor. That Power Query that you used to see in Microsoft Power BI, it's also in the same Power Query Editor. It's also in Excel. We also have Power Pivot, which is for doing DAX, all those relationships that we do in Power BI, all those measure. We are going to write measure now in Excel, of course, in Power Pivot in Excel. So another point is for data storage. Excel has limitations in terms of volume of transactions. In case you're like, what am I saying? One row is a transaction. It's referred to as transaction. So Excel has limitation in terms of number of rows that it can actually process. Though it's more than 1 million rows, but if you give that transaction to Excel, Excel can crash. So when Excel cannot take some things, right? The guide to go to within Excel, if you are still within Excel, is Power Pivot. That's why we talk about storage. It can do transaction more than 1 million rows without crashing. We can see the features. Within Power Pivot, we have calculated columns. That thing that we used to do in Power BI, if you say we want to do bags by adding new columns. So you can add new measures, you can see. So there are measures here. You can also establish a relationship. So for the sake of recording, I mean, so that when people are watching this particular screen is captured so that they get to know what are the things that we can do within Power Pivot, or what is it all about. So reason why I put some of those things here. So I will move away because this is just a screen to introduce what we want to do. We need to practically do that. So I've stayed for some time on the screen and we're just going to the demo. And after the demo, I think that's all. So thank you once again. If there's need to come back here, but we'll come back. So I'll minimize this one and be free. There are no stupid questions. Ask questions. If you're on your laptop at the moment, it's awesome because we can do this together. Um, I came up with a small data set. Okay, let me see if I can drop that on Excel. I I will need to stop sharing my screen because I want to share. I want to open. Okay, let me know. Let me ask. If you need the data set, if you're on your laptop and you want to work along, you can show with the raise of hand. If not, I wouldn't have to share that at this time. I can always share. Oh, okay. So because I'm seeing, and so I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want to pull up WhatsApp and I don't want that to be recorded. But I'm still here. I only stop. So I will have to launch WhatsApp. I want to share that to the group. For the sake of people that are not on the group, if you can let us know. We will share the link with you. Um, Maybe I would also drop the link on WhatsApp so that in case there's someone that just joined here, someone in the group can always help us drop the link. So just a moment, I want to share the data set into the WhatsApp group first. Oh, okay. It's a folder that I did not zip, so I would just have to drag everything one at a time. Just a moment. Okay. Yes, I'll share everything. Okay, let me share. If I'm sharing the right one. Yes. Okay. So I just did. You'll get like four files or four workbook. Okay, let me also drop the single one that has everything. So if you're going to use the single one, we will do that. So right now I have dropped like five. One of the folder has everything, but if you are going to use that, I'll tell you, but we can download everything. So I think we are good to go. Someone can confirm if you're part of the group, I mean the WhatsApp group, you can confirm that you've seen some of the things I dropped. Can you confirm, please, just to be sure before I close the WhatsApp?
Yes, I
Yes,
can
it is
see.
dropped.
Okay, thank you. Because I want to close the WhatsApp now. All right. But before we start with the file, we'll need to connect. Okay, good. Thank you. I will then share my screen again. I believe everyone is fine. Please, can we have, oh, if I drop it here, okay, let me try. I don't know if you'll be able to download, but I'm going to do that since you have requested. So someone requested that we should drop it. So let me see if I'm able to do that right. So where? Okay, let me do that later so that this I will need to actually do some settings. So permit me to do that later. Thank you. So I guess we can proceed now. I'll share my screen again. Uh, Chats. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Don't mind me, I'm just only responding to the chat that I saw. So let's confirm now that we can see my entire screen again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Once again, just to be sure, recording is ongoing, everyone. Tawa, you can lower your hand now. Okay, so let's say that you want to use Microsoft Excel. So I've searched for it and I'll just click. What we are working on today is not really Microsoft Excel, please. It's like Power BI within Excel. So I'm going to launch Excel. Uh, so this is just to show that the version I run. So I'm going to click on account but regardless of the version you're running, right, I will show everyone will have access to this. So if you look at this, you will see Power Pivot. But for some of us, maybe we don't have it, all right? How will you be able to enable this? So if I go to, okay, let me not do a shortcut. Let me do the normal process. So if I go to File and I click on More, right, I'll see Options. If I click on Options, this dialog box launcher shows. Then I'll see Add-ins. I hope my steps are not too fast. I hope I'm fine. This is me showing how to enable Power Pivots. Can I proceed?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you
Yes,
can.
please.
Okay. So I'll click on, in case you missed that, let me do that again. I click on File, though there's a shortcut, but I click on File. If you are not seeing options, click on More and look for Options. Then you see Add-ins. I'll click on Add-ins. So when I click on Add-ins, it will show some active add-ins and it will show some that are not active. So if you look at, for some people that do not have it, they've not enabled it, you will see Power Pivot. You can see that there is Power Map, there is Power Pivot, right? Your own will not be inactive if you do not already, if you have not enabled it, it will be inactive. All right, all you need to do is look at this, manage. You'll see that Power Pivot is in comps adding, it's not in like adding. But right now, by default, I'm in Excel adding. So I'm going to drop this and I'll go to com add-ins. I will now click on Go. When I click on Go, it's going to show me. The reason why this are ticked is because I've enabled them. So if you do this, you will not see them tick if you do not already enable it all. So you have to check the box against it, right? You don't need to do everything that I'm just trying to. The focus is just try to enable this one called Power Pivot, right? I will assume that we've done this, right? When you have done it, you now click on OK. When you do that, of course, Power Pivot will show you. Are we fine? Can we proceed now?
Sorry, sir. Please come again. Sorry, I was looking for
Yes.
external.
I should do all of this again, right?
Yes, sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. So look at the screen first so that you can get the steps. I'll click on File. I'll click on More. I'll look for Options, right? The person that asked for this, can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
I'll click on Add-ins. What we need to enable is called Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. Don't worry, it might not be here for you. Just look look at this around. Don't even worry. Don't bother to look around. Come to this box, drop this down and choose com add-ins. Tell me that you've seen this, then you click on go. When you click on go, you will see this option. You will see, right? Then check the box against this and then say, okay. That way, you will have this guy here. So everyone, are we fine? Can we proceed now? I need responses because this is the tool we need to use for what we want to do. Can I proceed?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank
Yes, you
Yes,
you.
you
can.
can.
Yes, you can.
Now, I
Yes, sir.
have, let me minimize this. So I have a folder. This folder here has, let me push it up. It has some things, but I already shared this on the group, right? So let's take a look at, let me just launch it. Let's look at it one at a time. Here, I only just put some things, right? Let me also, oh, sorry about this many. Okay, so let me also open this. Open this one. Though I have everything in one place. So I could use just this one and I will have in it, I will see all of them. But sometimes it depends on how you want, it depends on how the data is coming for you. So let's look at it one at a time. Here I have a workbook called Yes Channel, but there is a worksheet called Channel. So that we have the channel ID, we have the name of the channel. So online is 1, the ID for retail store is 2, and for wholesale is 3. I only put this together. Then we have customer. In customer, we have the ID of the customer and we have the name of the customers and we have the cities. You see that there's customer ID that identifies the customer. You will see here that there is channel ID that identifies the channel name. We also have product. So there is this laptop, which is 101. It belongs to this category. This is the unit cost, unit price, and this is the cost, which is cost per one. Then we have another one, which I call transaction. So there is an order in this channel. This product was ordered by this customer on a particular date, and the quantity ordered for is 1. I'm sure we understand this. If you do not understand, also let me know. Are we fine? Can we proceed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you'll see that there is an order ID. You see that there is channel ID. There is a product ID. The name of the product is not here. The name of the customer is not here. But an ID that identifies the customer is here. ID that identifies the product, ID that identifies the channel. So if I'm supposed to work in my office as a data analyst and I'm supposed to do some reporting based on all of this, right? So how will I be able to do that? So in reality, of course, you would have transactions more than this, but this is just a demonstration. So I put this together for demonstration purpose. So I will close all of this. I only open it so that we'll go through it one at a time before we load this. So what can I do if I'm going to use all of that we've seen to create report? Because management want to know the customer performance, channel, which product is giving us the most profits, and all of that. All I need would be that since we have enabled Power Pivot, I'll click on Power Pivot tab. So in this tab, I will see that there is data model, there is calculation in case I want to do measure. There is also what we call KPIs. We're also going to create that. So let's say you have a target. Maybe management has a benchmark to say, okay, any profit, the benchmark for profit is so amount. Let's compare our profit versus the target. All right. So you can see add this to data model. So all of those tables that I just showed, they are actually the data model. When we put them together, then you can see relationship. We talk about pivot shortly in the slide that talks about doing modeling, doing calculations, talking about relationship. So the reason why you are seeing this command here. So all I need to do, you can see go to. So if I launch or click on this manage, there's an environment that is going to open. This environment is Power Pivot environment. This is Power Pivot environment. All right. Can I proceed? Because we're about to get the work done. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Good. So you will see that for people that are already familiar with Power BI, you'll see that there's get data. You can see get external data. It's not saying, okay, what do you want to get? Is it coming from database? Is it coming from SQL Server? Of course, if it is coming, you go here and you supply the server name and all of those details. If it's not coming from any of this, of course, is it coming from old database? But what we want to pick is coming from Excel. All right. I will ask again just to be sure. For everyone, if this is your first time or something, I hope I'm not too fast for you. I've not done anything. I only launched the environment. Are we good? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
So I'll click on from other sources. So this is now going to show all of them. Is it from Oracle Accounting Scroll? And say, no, what I need is coming from Excel. Remember, it could be from any other source. All you need to do is look at the available sources here. But what we are working on is coming from this. So I'll say, okay, it's here. I can double click or click once and say next. So it's not saying, okay, show me the address of where that thing is coming from. You have already said it's Excel. I say yes. Okay, give me the address. Since if I do not have the path, in case they're like, what is the path? The path is like the address to locate something. So if I right click, I can show you properties, I'll say the path, but don't worry about that. I can just browse. When I browse, it will now say, okay, where is that? I'll then, wherever you put it to, locate it. If I load this hall, everything is inside one. But if you do not have something like this, maybe everything that you need is inside one, then you have to pick them one at a time. So I can double click or click once and then say open. Now it's not saying, okay, so this is the part, that's the address to the guy. Now that's okay. This one does the first row. Or is the first row there? That's why I say use first row. I said that. Of course, we've seen it in Excel. So I know that the first row is the header. So I can say, okay, use the first row as the header, as the column header. So when I do this, I can click on next. It will show me that, okay, I've gone to this address and I saw this table. I can say, let me see what's there. Of course, I can preview. And it's telling me that this is what is that? Oh, I'm fine. Thank you so much. I'll then say, okay. I will just say finish, right? Then it's telling me that there is this guy called channel. That's 3 rows, and I've moved them. There is no error. It's succeeded. I'll say, okay, thank you. So when I say close, something will drop. Remember, we are in Power Pivot environment, so it has dropped us, right? So I'll be fast now because I want to load everything, right? I've demonstrated this. So I'll click on this. But if I've loaded the one with yes all the all the 4 workbooks would have followed us actually, or let's say table in this context. But because it's there, so unless you miss the first one, That's when I need to slow down. I'll just say finish. This is that sales roles. So this is customer. And so can someone tell me while I have this? I just want
You
to
don't
tell
click
me.
on the make first row the header.
Thank you so much. So I did not, you get a point. So everyone, when you're loading data, do not. So I just wanted to be sure that you're full. Anyways, let me, in order not to complicate issues, you can see I can rename, I can move, I can describe, but I'm not doing that, but I'll just delete, not to. This is, remember, this is not Power Query Editor. This is not. For people that are used to that, this is not Power Query Editor, please. This is Power Pivot. So I will go again. Thank you, Ma, for following. I like that. I know everyone is also following, but remember that this option is here. This is not a cleaning environment. So I'm going to just go and say, okay, I need this. And I'll say next. And I'll say finish. So then close. So I will go again. I really don't need all this going again. That's why I have everything in one place actually. So, but for the sake of simplicity, let's just read this way. Then finish. Then close. As if we have 3 now, I need the transaction table to come join them. Next. Finish. Then close. All right. So we have channel, we have customer, we have product, we have transactions. Now you see that there are columns that I don't know they are bearing. Not that I don't know. This F7, F something are not needed. Let's start with that. Of course, I'm going to explain everything to this. So I can select them and I can right click and then I'll see that I want to delete these columns because they're not supposed to be there. Yes, I need them to be aware. All right. So these are the things you see in normal Excel because I opened it then. So let's get the work done. There is a channel called online and the ID. There's customer table, there's product table, and we have transaction. So if I want to see, for instance, or let me ask us, I think it's better. Do you think I should create a report like this to start with? If you're my line manager, is it appropriate? Is it normal? Is it even right that I would just say this is the report of transaction that happened? Do you think that's all that you want to see? I need you to respond.
No.
No.
Tell me, ma.
Okay. In my opinion, this report now is not detailed. Like, it's not telling anything. Fine. We know we have order ID. We have channel ID. So which of the orders? Which channel? What products in particular? These ones are just codes. If you're reporting this to a line manager, they don't understand which products has this ID.
Thank you so much. So when you load something like this doesn't make entire sense. Management may want to see, okay, if you say there's another, there's channel, there's this, and we have quantity. What about the total sales? What about the total cost? What about profit? What about average sale? What about average profit? What about which of the customer is the most profitable customer? All of that. You need to do all of that. But this one does not have everything. If I go to product table has the product's code, and there's also the unit price and unit cost. But quantity is not here. Quantity is on the transaction table. So I need something from this guy. Okay, so let's start with that. So there is product ID, right? In order to be able to know this product, I need the name of the product, but I do not have the name of the product. So I need to establish relationship, meaning that I need to connect this table to product table based on what we have in common. There is product ID and there is product ID here. That takes me to here. You see view. We are looking at the data view, but you see that there is diagram view. I need to ensure that I connect all of these tables together in order to have whatever I need from them. Are we fine? Can I proceed?
Yes.
So I'll click on diagram view. In case anyone is here and there's nothing confusing right now, but in case you are still like confused, you can let me know on time. If you show with the raise of hand, I won't see it. So I'll switch to diagram view and I'll see all the tables that we have loaded. Can you see them? So I might decide to arrange, I don't like this. I could just drag this, just by dragging, nothing really special. I could drag this. Maybe I want to do a kind of star schema. Don't worry, it's just an arrangement. Now, there's no how I can take something from here and here. No, I need to ensure that they are connected. This is what Excel cannot do. Ordinary Excel cannot do this. So there's channel ID, there's channel ID. If I don't want to do this that I just, if I don't want to show you this view, if I, for instance, let's say I go back to data view, I'll still show you the view. And I come to design, I'll see relationship. So it's not that that's the only place you can see create relationship. So if I click on create relationship, it's going to show what we used to for people that are familiar with Power BI, right? So there's this wizard. So it's not that that's the only. So it's because by default, when I launched it, I was on transaction. So it already post transaction. So I could come here, right? And then drop this and say, I want to connect it to, of course, I'm going to connect to everything, but let's say channel. So it's not saying, okay, channel ID to channel ID. I'll then say, okay, right? Do not worry. They're already connected. My point is that, but because I want you to see it, so I can switch to that view, which is this diagram view. You get the point. So anyhow you want it. So well, this one is just channel ID to channel ID. So I could just drag product ID to product ID, either from this to this or from here to here. So I'm just going to left click and then drag this way, product ID to product ID, and relationship is established. I would also talk about this for anyone that is new. I'll talk about this, the meaning of this thing, right? So there's also customer table, then customer ID to customer ID. So I can drag from here or drag from anyone. So right now, this will enable me to be able to get what I don't have from any of this table because we've already established relationship. So for someone that is like, let's come to channel first. You see that the reason why you are seeing something new here is because there is a relationship between this table and another table. But what I want to talk about is there is this one, channel ID 1. This one only appear once. There is number 2. Number 2 only appear once. There is 3. You only appear once on this table, right? But if we go to transaction table, you'll see that channel 1 appear, see 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. It's showing many times here. So if we go back to this diagram, so the reason why you are seeing 1 here is because that channel ID on channel table only show 1 time. But the same channel ID that is showing 1 time here is showing many times. So this star means that the ID is showing many times on this table. I hope you are fine. Are we good? Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If there's anyone that is, okay, let me Let me come to teams because I can tell you that I'm very slow. Are we fine? If you're fine, you can show me the razor band because we've not done anything complex. It's actually very simple. If you are following and you are fine, you can just show me the razor band. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Because the essence of this is that everyone understand. That is for me. So thank you. You can lower your hand. Because I remember those days, people used to run from power people because they feel that we've not even have enough understanding of Excel. They are talking about power pivots. So you can lower your hand, Kay, unless you have a question. Thank you. Good. So in order to just make it simple, I will then say we want to add columns, right? We want to begin to do some calculations. For instance, let's say I want to be able to know, I'll add columns for before I do measures. Let's say we want to know if someone did an order for this product for one quantity, how much is the sales? So let me add a column. I can double click or I can just start doing some things in the formula bar, but let me just double click to name this. Let's say this is sales. I'm just typing. I just press enter and there's a column called sales. By default, it already added equal to, right? Because it knows that I want to calculate a column, right? So if I stay here, in order to know our sales, which is also revenue, I need the unit price multiplied by quantity. That will give us the total sales. I will then type quantity, right? This quantity is coming from a table called transaction. I can pick this or this is table center. So I can say yes. Multiply, which is Shift 8 on my keyboard. Multiply by what? Multiply by unit price. But unit price is not on this table. It's on another table that I have relationship with. Okay, so this is where I need to ask again. Can I proceed? Are we following?
Yes.
Yes.
So because there is a relationship, because I've connected them, I would need to use a function. That function name is related. That's the name of the function. Now, it returns a related value from another table. So I will pick related because I picked all the tables that I have relationship with will then be listed. You know, this is like the fact table or transaction table that has connection with all other tables. So it's not saying, okay, where do you need something from? Of course, I need something from product, but it's not a name that I need. I need, if I want the name, of course, if I pick the name now, it's not about, I'm not multiplying quantity with the name. If I actually need a name, I wouldn't use quantity times. I will just use related to product name, and it will drop the name of the product here. But there's no need to do that since we already have the table. So all I need is this one. So I'll pick this, which means quantity multiplied by unit price. I'll close the bracket and press enter. Then I'll have a column. That's all. It's done. In case I like, for real, look at this table. Look at this product ID 102. Let's go to product. There is 102, and the unit price is 500. So if you come back, someone ordered for 2. Reason why you're saying 1,000. Okay, so I believe, someone's hand is up. Please go ahead. Or was it by mistake? Okay, I need someone to tell me, I want to do the same calculation I just did. I want someone to tell me what to do. I want to do cost. How to calculate cost column. Can someone guide us? What do I do? This is it. I'm transferring the knowledge now. You saw what we did here. Okay, if you are following, you can still hear me say something.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Go ahead, man. So tell us what to do. Give me instruction.
Okay, sir. We are going to go to add column and and put our column header as,
First.
yes, sir.
Done.
Okay, so after that, we'll go to the formula bar.
All right.
Then we'll type quantity. Then it's going to
Okay.
bring the suggested
Okay.
value.
Okay. I could have said type related though before that, but let's go with your
Oh,
code.
okay.
It's still the same thing. So I've typed quantity, yes. What will I do next?
Quantity multiplied by, which is Shift 8 on the keyboard. Then we'll go with the formula the related function to
Correct.
click. Then we'll type unit cost.
Okay.
As a suggested value also. Then we'll close the bracket and press
Thank you.
enter.
Please let's celebrate. It's as simple as this, everyone. So the reason why we're using related is because we do not have what we need here. It's on another table that we have relationship with. So I could as well will have started be related and related unit price multiplied by quantity. So no one says quantity should start. I mean, I hope we understand. Okay, so can someone try this one? We want to have what we call profit. Yes, I'm waiting for someone to try this. Anyone can try. The best way to
Okay.
understand. Go ahead, please.
So we name the column profit.
Profit.
Okay.
That's done already.
Then we go to the formula bar.
Correct.
So profit will be sales
Thank you. Done.
minus cost.
That's it.
Close the brackets and press enter.
Thank you. So 800 minus 650 will give us this. Okay, so this, thank you so much. I celebrate you. This is money. So if this is money, look at format. So let me just go with dollars, please, instead of looking for. So I'll pick this and I'll pick this. So now we have this. Of course, I'll be able to create whatever report with this, but we might want to, in our report, we might want to see some things. So this that we have done, they are columns. This is the calculated column, calculated column, calculated column. But we can create what we call measure. For people that are not new to columns and measure would not sit like this on this table and occupy rows. Measure is an aggregated value. Let me just simplify it that way. So where do you then do measure here? Where do you write measure? Okay, one of the measures I want to write on this transaction table, let's say we want to know how many products do we really have. Though if I go to product table, I know that we have 5. You might want to check the most profitable, how will I say that? For instance, let's say product with the something like average profit per product. Yeah, average profit per product. So if I want to do that, I will need to do some calculations. very cheap calculations. Anyways, if you're writing measures, there are two ways there to do that. But let me just make this simple. Though you can see that there is a group here called calculations. But if I select this cell, I just click this cell and I type, let's say, equal to. If you look at the formula bar, there is already equal to. Okay, let me start with the sum of, I want to know the total profit, right? I want to know the total profit, which is this plus this plus this plus this. I need a function. It's not like what we just did. I'll need sum. I'm just typing. Now, sum would add all the numbers in a column, though there's also some X. If I need something, this calculation that we just did, right? I could actually use some X also to do that, to say, okay, I need, but it's measure. Yes, please.
I'm trying to pick the cell, but it's not picking from my system, sir, like yours. Like the way you highlighted one cell, it's not.
Look at my cursor moving. So if you have done this and press enter, then it should allow you. This is, if your own is like this, you might want to, I wouldn't know, maybe you want to reduce this space up so that you'll be able to pick. There will be a line that cut the upper part and the lower part. It can't be inactive. It will be active.
Okay,
So,
sir.
so I will do this again. I just selected this cell and I type equal to, and I will type SUM because what we want to do is just to sum up this column, which is profit. I want to calculate the profit. So I will put open bracket. Sum is not saying what column are you adding up, and I can just type profit, right? And I can pick transaction profit. Transaction is the name of the table that has the column called profit, or I can just pick profit, right? So I'll press, close the bracket and press enter. Then we have the total profit in this cell. But you can't, seem that the space is not accommodating this guy. I can take my cursor here and then extend or increase this. So the profit is what you're saying, but it's showing measure one. So remember that this is measure, not column. So I'll say, no, the name is not measure one. I can rename it here. If I right click on this cell, I'll see, but I'm not creating KPI and I'm not adding anything, I'm not formatting. So we get there. So I'll select this and I will type total profit. But let me just put it together, total profit. Then I'll press enter. So this is our total profit. So this is money. I'll say it is money. And if I don't want the decimal places, this is why you see this here in this. But let's say I want two decimal places. So this is our total profit, but this is measure. So I can stay here. And this is not the only place you can do this. Okay, let me show, but this is very simple really. But if I close this, can I proceed? I need that response because so that someone will not say, how did I leave? How
Yes,
did I
please.
get? Okay, so if I close this, for instance, don't worry, it's still there. If I want to go back, all I need to do is to click on manage. So don't think it has disappeared. No. So if I close this, you'll see that there is calculation group. That measure that I wrote, it's also here. So I can say I want to do new measure. Then a wizard, a dialog box will then show that what is the name of the measure, and the measure is it going to stay on which table. So don't think My point is this is cheap. It's not that it is difficult. So it's not saying what is the name of the measure. So I can say the name of the measure is total cost, right? Let's say total sales, right? Total sales. If you want to describe, you can describe this measure is the multiplication of X, Y, Z, but I really don't want to do that. So this is sum of, so when I still type the sum, right? Type it. It's not saying sum of both. Then I can say sum of that's cost, right? Cost. So this cost is not this, is the cost from this. So if I pick this, right? So it's already saying that is it general, is it number, is it currency, which is money. And you can see the symbol, right? And it's also saying decimal place or something. Oh, I'm sure we're fine, right? So if I say okay, then the measure is already written. But I won't see it here because we are not in Excel. If I go here, so my point is, are we good? Are we following it here now?
We are following, sir. We are following, sir.
Okay, so don't think it's here. So you know that, you know, we did this one here, but we did the other one in that other place, right? So, and if you look at the formula bar, it's already here saying that this is this. Okay. So I wouldn't bother to do cost. I'm sure we can do that. Now I want to do how many products do we really have? So if I stay, let me do that for me. So I'm going to say equals to, okay, before I do this calculation, you need to understand. You see that on this table, product code is repeating itself. So if I say, let me know how many products, I won't use count. If I use count will count the occurrence of everything. But I need to count distinctly so that if it says 101, it will only count 101 once. It will not count 101 as many times as is appearing here. So then I need what we call a DAX function that will be able to distinctly count. So if I say equals to distinct, so I need this guy that will count the number of distinct value in a column. So I'll pick this. I'm very slow. That's why I'm talking this way. And what am I counting? I want you to count from transaction table, the product ID. Product ID from transaction table. Now, this is it. I'll pick this. I'll close the bracket and say enter. Okay, let me give it a proper name so that I'm sure you understand though. Let's say total product, total products or product is fine. Now, total product is actually 5. Yes, if you come to product table, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why I show this is that if you have a table and you need to count number of customer, the actual head count of the customer or something, this is how to do that. You need to use the extend function for different branch transactions, but you need to know how many branch actually, not all the transactions of the branch, and then this is how to do it. I hope this makes sense to you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let's say we want to know, let's say we want to calculate a measure that will let us know average profit per product. We already have total profit and we just calculated total product. Then I could create a measure. Okay, let me stay here. We can stay anywhere, so it's not. So I could calculate a measure that would, so I would just say equals to, this would then be total profit divided by total product. Total profit. You already, so if you see, okay, I'm sure you understand that this is what we need, this one, because this is it here. So total profit slash total product, which is this. So if I say enter, so this is, let me just call it AVG, which is average, which will be average profit per product. Average profit per products. So let me increase this, and it's money. Then we have this. So if I don't want decimal place, I can, but let me leave it. So of course, if you want like average profit per customer or something, you can also write all of those measures by just ensuring that you count the customer distinctly, and maybe average and sales per customer or something. So this is how to do that. You can just transfer the knowledge and you'll be fine. Now let's say that for now, that's all that I want to do. I could go on and on, but the most important thing is to expose this to us so that we don't do too much. The most important thing for me is to understand the concepts, is to understand how to do all of this. So now I don't need to go further really if I want to do anything. If I go to design, for instance, I will see that I can, if I want to do all of those calculations options, or I want to see properties of the table, but I'm not doing that. If I go to advanced synonyms, that is in Power BI, it's also a way you can give another name, but I'm not doing all of that. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do now is that, let's say everything is fine. We then need to create report, right? So you can see that there's pivot table here. So if I drop down this pivot table, I can just go straight to pivot table. But if, of course, this is straightforward. If I close this, for instance, don't worry, it's still there. And I come to this same area. If I go to, I want to create pivot table within this, and I go to insert, and I come to pivot table. I'm not creating pivot table from a range, but I'm picking it from data model, because it's a scenario. That volume of transaction cannot stay in Excel. It's from data model. So if I click from this data model, of course, in the memory of this guy, it knows that there is something that we have stored on the data model. So my point is, for people that have been seeing this in Excel, what we are demonstrating today is what that means. That means you can see create a pivot table from a data model in this workbook. They know that something is there. So whichever one you do, is still the same. But let's say I want to go back here, and I want to go back. So if I say, okay, I want it pivot table. So it's not going to say, okay, is it a new workbook or existing one? I want it here. So the existing one, I'll say, okay. All right, I believe you are still following. Can I proceed?
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you. Okay, let me bring this down a bit. Don't mind me. That's how, okay, let me increase this for your sake. Now, you would see, this is not normal. I don't think this is normal Excel thing, no. So anyways, let's say I want to see all of those measures, for instance. I can search, but if I expand this, you see all the columns and you see some calculations. All of these FX, those are the measures that we calculated. So let's say I want to see, let me collapse this. I want to see, let's say product name versus total. I can search this, but this is me just trying to open it for a sec. Versus total profit. Then we have this, or maybe versus total sales, or maybe this. My point is, you'll be able to do this. The reason why we're able to do this is normally, if you know that profit was not on transaction, how will I say that? We wouldn't have been able to calculate profits without establishing relationship between product that has the unit price, right? So because of the model, we're able to get something from this guy to this guy. Now, let's say we want to, let me just remove one. I will have done a measure that will count something, but let's ignore. Let me remove sales. Let me show something transaction, right? And then go with other ID. Now, this other ID, come here. Now, what you're seeing is wrong. The total transaction, okay, I wouldn't, if you look at this, the total transaction that happened is actually 20. This is what I mean. Take a look. On this transaction, the total order is actually 20. How come this guy is now showing something awkward? Though if I've counted this, we'll have had 20. I will have said total order. Then I have a measure that will be able to help me to do how many order did we get on a particular product instead of having something like this. But regardless, let's say, because what Excel did was to calculate the adding up all of those numbers, but it's not right. So instead of sum, I would then say no, don't sum. But normally I wouldn't do this. I write a measure. So I would then say don't sum. I can come to value field and then say instead of sum, please count. So if I say okay, we should have 20. My point is the normal thing to do. Don't do this. You should write a measure that will count the total order. Then you can then use the measure in place of doing this this way. I'm sure we are fine. I'm sure this is clear. Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So I don't need this. I'm going to drag it out. Now that we have something like this, let's say that okay, I'm wondering if I should use total sales. I need bigger money. Let's see, total sales. Wow. Okay. Let's say that the target, there is a benchmark. So let me use total sales. That management has maybe benchmark. Just a moment. Okay, good. Let me use this. So this is showing you profit by product. Now let's say the management has a benchmark to say that the list here is 240 profit and the highest is 900. Can we just say we need to have a KPI that would help us to know if a particular target that we want to set is met, that any profit that is less than so should be red. Any one that is not should be whatever color. Apart from all of those conditional formatting, we also want to see the target side by side to know if we have done that. Then I don't have to do it. I could have come back and also do it, but this is KPI. So I would drop this. and I'll say new KPI. The dialog box will show. Now, it's not saying, do you want to do the KPI based on total profit? It knows there is a measure, so it's going to show all the measures. So if management has told me that the benchmark is a particular amount of money, I could also create a measure in that regard. That's why you're saying measure. If I have a measure for that, then I will then call up the measure. But in this context, there is no measure that is supposed to be the KPI or the target. So I can say, okay, no, don't worry, use the value. Now, let's say that I'll just go with what we have. Let's say this is, for instance, anything, let's say 1,000. Oh no, there's no 1,000. So let's say maybe 800. 800. So in case what I'm trying to do is not clear, let's say you have a benchmark to say our profit should be, the target is 800. Though I know that there's someone that exceed, but let me just use 900, it's fine. 900. But it's not that it is now you will set it. This could have been said before you begin to create reports if management has communicated that to you. So now I can then say anything that is less than, that means from 0 to maybe let's say 300. So I can click in this box and do Control A and type 300 and press enter. Or I can drag this. So don't think that, right? So but the best for me, instead of dragging it, type in the box. And that anything that is not up to, this is the target area. So I can say 900, Control A. But let me reset this to 800. 800. At least let's know that somebody exceed the target. So let me reset this to 800. So then 800 is our target. I would adjust this to Control A, 800, enter. And let's say this is, my point is, this is me just creating scenario. Management or the organization are the one that will determine this. So let's just say, I'll just leave it as this, right? Or 250. Good. Now, are we following? Are we fine? Am I doing something that is not clear to you?
Yeah, fine, sir.
Okay, others kindly respond. Let me know if it is clear to you.
I'm fine, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
it's clear, sir.
we'll
Yes,
stop
it's clear.
don't worry, we're going to stop the class shortly. Now, so I could use any of this. I could say, okay, give me this, show this one or something. So, and if you want to describe, you can also describe what this measure is doing. So, but we're not describing. If I expand this, the KPI is for X, Y, Z, and the value that, there is no need. So I will then say, okay. So when I click on OK now, something would appear here. Now, all I need to do is to come to, I'm scrolling down. I will then see that there is KPI that has to do with profit. I would expand this. So I'll see that the value, of course, you know that we use it based on the value. Then there's a goal we set, which is 800, and there's a status. So the reason why you are seeing this is because he has looked at the stuff. Anyone less than 250, they are getting minus. But anyone from 250 to, but let me deselect this so that you understand. If I choose this now, you will see this based on that we settle. So if I can actually say, okay, let's see the goals side by side. So this is the goal that was set. That's why you're seeing total profit goal. And this is the one they have achieved. As transactions are happening in the real life, right? This will be changing. Of course, this will not change because you've already set is the benchmark, so nothing's going to change it. But as transactions are happening, this will be changing, and of course, this status would also be changing. as transaction. It's just that this is, I can't alter anything here, except I go to the data source and add more transactions or something. How we find, does this make sense to you?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay. So
Yes,
now,
sir, we are.
okay. If there are questions, let me know. So if I go to, for instance, I go to, let me see the time. Okay, I'll finish in maybe 3 minutes or 5 maximum. So if I come to insert tab, I can put, today is not for building report, it's just to focus on what we just did. So I can come to pivot chart and then say I want to do like visualize what we have. Let me just go with pie chart and make it simple. It's fine. I can let me do this design and choose, oh, let me just call it up there, data label. Good. But I'm not changing. Today is not for formatting. So what we are seeing is the performance based on profit. Let me go to this and then call slicer. Now, let me talk about this. You know, this report, we use something from product table and something from transaction table. That's why you see active. You see that product and transaction. But because I want to maybe slice, I want to filter this with not what is on this, I'll click on all. This will enable me to see all of those tables. So let's say I want to see customer. I want to use customer to slice. Maybe I also want to use what else? Maybe channel. It depends though. I can say, okay. If you have not done relationship, all of these things is not possible. That's the point. You can't do this without the relationship that we have done. So let me reduce this. Remember, it's not that we are not creating reports. I mean, we are not really. If you are creating standard reports, we would do more than this. But this is just to let you see some things, the power of pivot. With that, we're able to do measures, we're able to do goals, we're able to relate the tables. Okay, so let's say we want to see this guy. So if I click on this, then this will just show you. I don't know if you use online. What did it do via online? What did it do via retail store? What did it do via wholesale? So my point is, at the end of the day, you'll be able to know, you'll be able to do all of these reports. So if this guy purchased through this, you'll be able to see all of that. So are we fine? Are we good? At this point, any question? Any question, any comment, any clarifications? Don't want us to spend. We've already spent at I think 1 hour and few minutes. Yes, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the class, sir.
Welcome.
I want to ask that is it that the only difference between using Excel to visualize data and Power Pivot is the fact that we can use Power Pivot to look for the aggregated measures?
Oh, okay. So what you're asking is the difference between Power Pivot and normal Excel. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
So the difference is, remember that one, there are things Excel cannot do. For instance, you cannot have multiple tables connected in normal Excel. You can't establish relationship. Power Pivot is like the when we are doing modeling in Power BI, where we're able to go to model view and do synonyms and connect different tables using primary key to foreign key Excel cannot do that. Normal Excel cannot do that. Normal Excel cannot do measures. So it's not just about that measure. It's about modeling so Excel cannot model.
Okay.
Yeah. So Excel cannot model. Excel cannot also take when volume of transaction is too much, you can't load it to Excel. Excel can accommodate it, but Power Pivot can. You see that this data that we use to create this report is not loaded into Excel. It is in model. It is in Power Pivot. Though this one that we use is small, but the concept is to let you know that if you have volume of transaction that Excel cannot take, you can't load it in this environment. It will crash. So the data is not seated there. The data is actually seated in Power Pivot, which is model, right? You get. So the data is not seated in Excel really. That's why you're not seeing any table here. The tables are here. So the difference is massive. It's not just this, right? It's more than this. But just know that you can't create KPIs in Excel. You can't create measures. You can't do this relationship in normal Excel. No. You can only do this in Power BI. In model. You can't even do relationship in Power Query Editor. You get the point. You can't write measure in Power Query Editor. Let me know if I answered you correctly, just to be sure.
Yes, sir. You have, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions for me, please? Okay. Let me ask everyone, if there are no questions, what are the things you've learned? If there's anything you've learned, do you want to drop it on the chat? Just to be sure, if you learn anything new. This is Power Pivot, right? Because in reality, they are still working with Microsoft Excel in your company and you have volume of transactions and maybe if you don't have access to Power BI yet, this is a go-to guy. So what are the things you've learned? Joan, are you fine? Callista, are you fine? Cowdy, are you fine? Joseph, are you fine?
Yes, sir. So thank you very much for taking your time for the class, sir. So basically, just a revision on how to use the Power Pivot and also writing our measures in Excel too. So thankfully the session is recorded, so we'll be able to go over it again. And if there's any questions or anything that we have, we can always come back and drop it in the Excel, yes, Excel community on WhatsApp. So, but for now, I think personally I'm good, except any other person has any question.
Thank you for that. Mr. Linus, are you fine? Mr. John, are you fine? Mr. Maduka, are you fine? Madam Bolanli, Sandra, Rosemary, I believe you are fine, right? So if we are good, I'm still waiting if there's anything. Kalista, did you learn something new? Oh, Bilikis, please go ahead, man.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for this session. I got it from the part where we were able to go to Excel and do the I didn't get it from the start. I was able to follow from when we're able to add the Power Pivot to the Excel. But while trying to connect my Excel to be able to use Power Pivot, I'm struggling with it. I went on File, I went on Options and Add-ins, but it is not active because I've never used Power Pivot before. So I'm struggling to add that Power Pivot to the Excel. I don't know if you can help me with that.
Can you see my screen? Look at my screen. I'm already, as you're talking.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes,
Can I go to options?
yes.
So when you go to options, you see add-ins. So is your Power Pivot somewhere here, right?
Yes, yes, it's in the
Then you
inactive.
come to this place and drop this down and see com add-ins.
Okay,
Then you click on go.
okay.
I'm just waiting for you to be sure that we're on the same page.
Power com add-ins.
Correct. Then click on Go. The Go button is right in front of the manage
Yes, I
button.
have.
Then are you able to see it here?
I
But
have inquire. Yes.
then you now check the box and then say OK.
Oh, okay.
You're fine now, right?
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is that all the question? Are you fine? Is that all?
Yes, sir. That is all. That was the only part I was struggling with. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Madam Sawa, please go ahead. I see your hand again.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to ask that with the power pivot, you were building model and you were building charts. Can we also use this power pivot to like build a dashboard rather than?
Of course. Of course. You'll be able to create, that's why we have all the tables. If I stay within, you'll be able to create different reports. You know that when you normal Excel, right? If we create different, let's say customer performance, product performance, maybe something performance. At the end of the day, we need to have a single page, which is a dashboard that's going to summarize all. Yes, we'll be able to do that easily. Unlike Excel, we'll be able to do that. Let's say this is talking to performance. If I go now to another place, let's say another page, I'll need to remember that I must use pivot table to create. I must use pivot table to create a report. You get it?
Okay.
If I say from data model, you can already see is do you get? Let's say this is for customer performance. So if I say yes here, this one, then I'll be able to create this report maybe this is product, this is customer. At the end of the day, I will then have another page that I will then say, okay, I want to move this chart to that place. I want to move this chart to that place so that we can then have a single dashboard that summarizes everything. That's what you're asking for, right?
Yes, sir.
I hope I answered it correctly.
Sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other question? Please, your hand is up again, right? Okay,
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't put it down the other time.
okay. So thank you, everyone. I'll stop recording and I'll communicate the next time we will be meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll communicate, of course, I'll make